Welcome back to Agri Talk. The day before the Farm Progress Show, we are here in Boone, Iowa at the Farm Progress Show site at the Agritain Koch Agronomic Services booth. And Martin Case joins us now. He's Regional Manager for Eastern Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin for Koch Agronomic Services. Martin, thank you for joining us. We've been sitting here doing what I think just about everybody's doing this year, talking about the weather.
Well, the weather is the issue, seems like every year. Just this year, it's a dry weather issue rather than wet.
And there are things to be learned from a dry year like this, especially when it comes to management practices. A year like this is not so forgiving. You can't make some management mistakes and hope to recover because you had such good weather. This year it really showed.
Yeah, you're seeing the differences in all kinds of management practices and just luck. Going into this season, you can see some of the guys that planted early that have good crops, some that don't because they planted early just because of a weather pattern, timing of the heat and all that.
Yeah, this has been such a strange year and so many different variables certainly, but it does get back to good management, and already we're looking ahead to next year, thinking about next year, and you try to learn what you can from a year like this. Yeah,
you really do, and that's kind of the theme of our booth this year, is that we have kind of a four-theme approach, I guess you'd say. We're having Dr. Bilo and Adam Henninger from the University of Illinois talking about the 7 wonders of the corn world, and then we're having a company called Planalytics talking about weather. And if you have followed those two items, they make up, 99% of what we ended up with this year and almost every year. So we're trying to get those things weaved into our booth, come in and talk to us, get some information, and then go out and visit the plots, which are very indicative of those factors.
I think there'll be a lot of questions, don't you, by farmers here at the show this year. They're going to really be seeking information.
Oh, definitely, because, those two factors, how to, take the weather, as it looks like it's going to be, and then make some management decisions in behind that. The two factors that influence your corn yield, of course, number one being weather, we're seeing that. And the number two factor that Dr. Bilo talks about is nitrogen, and what we can do with using management-based systems approach to nitrogen management to improve our, nitrogen use efficiency, therefore yield.
Still some unknowns here. We don't know what kind of fall it's going to be or winter, if we're going to get much moisture. Will it still be dry when we go into next planting season? That affects a lot of things.
And I think that's part of what we're seeing in our booth is this, what does we expect or potentially think the weather might be like this fall going into next spring. And that's what Planalytics is going to talk about here, is how to take some actionable items from their look ahead, if you will, into next spring and put them into practice, and maybe we can take advantage of that. Yeah, this fall is going to be an interesting fall unless we get some moisture in some of these key markets so that they can get their fall fertilization done timely.
Because there might be a lot of decisions put off till much later than usual because of a lack of moisture.
Yeah, I believe that fall nitrogen applications are the key ones that will be waiting for some weather to break in their favor, and so as that changes, their program will change, and they'll have to look into next year and make decisions, all of those decisions from this fall.
So as you said, that'll be reflected here in your booth and your exhibit here, including looking at some of the corn that you have.
Yeah, I was just walking out on those plots that they put out, looking at the 7 wonders of the corn world, if you will, and that's some pretty nice looking corn considering how tough the weather it's been. They got off to a good start and they beat the heat, I guess, here.
Yeah, I looked at it too, and it's some of the best looking corn I've seen for this year.
I live in central Illinois, and some of the corn I've seen around there is it's kind of depressing looking stuff.
I can attest to that, as I do as well, live in that part of the country. All right, Martin, we'll have you back a little bit later on, and we'll talk about some of the plans that farmers need to be thinking about making for next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love being here.